Good morning. Let's go live. Let's play some music, and I'll see you in just few minutes. Good morning, everybody. Hey, hi, Chris. Yeah, welcome back too. You're driving as well. Oh my gosh. Nice to hear from you. We need a little bit of masculinity on our chat lines. Hi, Kylie. Hi, Dating Yogi. Hi, Barbie. And Barbie is, look at that. Oh, thanks, Chris. Barbie is back to being a moderator. What is Barbie? You have some kind of like, let's say, magic over YouTube? So strange. How long is this music? Let's remove this. Let's put it down here. And happy birthday, all Tauruses out there. Anybody who's Taurus or has a Taurus ascendant, Taurus moon, this is your time. So guys, this is the time to Taurus time. It's like the Empress card. It's like, what do we do? Like, we treat ourselves. We're going to gain weight during this period. What else we're going, and I actually didn't check anything astrologically purposely, because this time around I only want this to be just like straight tarot reading. So good morning, good morning. I'm just debating, should I take the Wild Unknown or Kitty Tarot, but since it's customary that I do Cat Tarot, I think I'm going to stick to that. So we are going to just jump in, because I'm doing actually monthlies this time around, and I'm also shifting. I have to do it. Remember, I'm talking about it for a while, but I'm shifting how I will do things. And so basically I'll use these Saturdays, they'll continue, but I'll use them for maybe different things. So for example, today is going to be monthly. Then in 2 weeks, you're going to have a bi-weekly, like a top-up kind of a thing, just to see extra. Look at that. We have people showing up, joining us. This is so nice. Good morning, Kelsey. Good morning, Lorna. And let's do it. However, what is going to be still remaining solid on these lives is Barbie and I guess Kylie will be kind of like running the show, and we will still have doors, kind of like segments. We will still have moderators get their own kind of like read. So that's it. I might actually take this reading down to slice it into the signs to kind of like be easier. And so that way you guys, when you're on the live, because you're helping me with the energies, and it's actually better. I figured the last time around when I did monthlies, I was just in a wrong headspace, and that's why it didn't really work out well. Kylie, the Scorpio pink moon was intense. Got some good photos though. I can never get good photos. Like, I mean, actually, maybe I should try with my. I have a really, well, I'd say it's not a great Canon. I have two Canon cameras. One is like, neither is a full frame, so I don't know. Like, I mean, if my lenses would do it, and on the phone I always get the fuzz around it, so it's kind of weird. So, of course, we are starting with Taurus. So I'm thinking like doing my traditional thing. I'm going to do the Celtic cross. I'm going to do the whole thing, except I'm going to go faster. You know, guys, you have to realize, let me get my little tabs. You need to realize that when I do reading for myself, my reading to myself lasts literally 2 minutes. It's actually almost like that I'm shortening myself and I'm doing my own reading. So I put it in big Lenormand. It takes me like, what, 10 minutes to shuffle, to focus, to put it down, and then in 2 minutes I know exactly what I need to know. And when I do the reading for others, I realize sometimes I'm kind of like working through every card and I find more. So this is kind of like what I'm going to do. Oh, Kylie, you use your mobile and adjusted the camera. That helps. Kind of like, it's really kind of like really nice. So we had Tiger last week who is protesting this new food. So I continuously kind of like waver between actually the same food. One is with grain, one is without grain. And the same thing is with my cats. They're eating too many temptations, and temptations are just bad for them. Before, my cats all lived up to 21, and now I'm thinking these two, Selfie, let's see if they are going to come. Matrix, these two are eating too much junk food and I don't want to shorten their life. My diet was not good lately, last week or so. Just like everything went off the rails. So let's, I'm feeling better. My breathing is kind of like completely fine right now. My leg is, I would say, 90% good now. I still cannot do certain things. I was trying to clean the floor and I wanted to kneel, and I just realized I cannot put weight on it. So I guess still on that level I have to do it. And but otherwise I can walk and I can do stuff, which is the most important thing. So thanks for asking. So let's start with birthday girls and boys, Taurus. So anybody here who is a Taurus or who has some really important Taurus, what I find important, basically, I cannot exclude any planet, but I would say inner planets, right? So we are talking about Mercury, we are talking about Venus, we are talking about Mars, and we are also talking about the ascendant, and we are talking about the moon. Of course, these are kind of like close to us, so hence our planet can affect them. But I also look, for example, for Jupiter and Saturn. So you can see quite a bit of that is covered. Simply because, I mean, I know I should be, and that's why I always kind of put preface in saying I am not an astrologer. I know I should be kind of like doing things in a more kind of like methodical way, because that's the principle of astrology. But the reason why I don't do it is because I just kind of like, first of all, they're like cereal, and there is like, I mean, Western, and then they're just looking at the kind of northern skies. So I just like feel lots of flaws are there, and maybe it needs to be redefined. So you kind of like need to take my interpretations with a grain of salt. But wouldn't you think logically that the big planets can affect our planet, kind of a thing? So that's kind of how I look at it. Alrighty. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I'm talking for 9 minutes already. So let's do it. Taurus. Hi, Yogi. Like, oh my gosh, your timing is spectacular. You didn't miss anything other than my blabbing. Look at Lynn is over here. So kittens and pussycats, Taurus. You're starting with 4 of Earth. There's like something keeping close to your chest. Something keeping close to your chest. And then you have 9 of Fire. I guess you're getting some kind of like support system. There's like some kind of like consensus, something going on over there. What else? I'm going to put it here. You have 7 of Earth. I keep grabbing. Then you have 8 of Fire. This is going to all fit here. Then you have 6 of Sky. So this is 6 of Swords, I guess, right? So you had somebody kind of like sending loving words to you. I can see that, but you're also kind of like in a mode of some kind of, I don't want to get involved, almost like as if maybe you're just kind of like walking away. And then you have a Sky Kitten, or that would be a Page of Swords here in these cards. We have Ace of Earth, which is really good. It's in your house. I can see Earth dominating here, so clearly, and there is like Earth Tom, which is like the Knight of Pentacles over here, that is in your environment. Then I have here Ace of Sky. This is the Karma card. Let me turn off that air conditioner here. Yeah, my place is always under air conditioning because even in the middle of the winter, believe it or not, this is kind of like how hot it gets here, and I don't like heat. And then we have 9 of Sea. Okay. So Taurus, I told you, I know, like within like freaking 2 seconds, like I mean, what to do with that. First of all the cards are upright. This is like really good. You feel you have accomplished something. You feel you are moving things forward in one direction or another. As I said, kind of like I also feel some kind of barriers erected, as if something was coming toward you, and almost like a love, because the 8 of Wands is like that. Look at our zoomies over here. Like I mean, something is happening, and it's either was that it was too fast, too soon, something happening, because look, both of these cards, the core over here, are 9 of Fire and 4 of Earth, right? So first of all, they're coming to 13, which is death card in tarot. So death is regeneration. Death is like you are putting something to rest. You don't want to deal with something. But it almost looks like that there is a little bit of stubbornness in it, because that's why you have 4 of Earth. And this specifically applies to Tauruses born in April. So basically the ones that had the birthday in the last 10 days. But there's also some kind of like involvement, possibly of the group of people. When I see 9s, that means, so for example, your wider family, or kind of like the communities involved. Like maybe, like I mean, there could be a legal counsel over here that somebody has to say, right? And you also have this like 6 of Swords over here, which is, and 6 of Swords, and also it's mirroring 7 of Pentacles, right? So 7 of Pentacles is always like about like really what you're famous or infamous for. You're building step by step by step by step, and like you're moving things kind of like forward, right? So there's like some kind of like patient waiting for something, but at the same time there's like possibly, I look at in this deck, possible anger of the pussycat deciding, you know what, I don't want to deal with this, I'm kind of like fed up with everything is kind of like gone to hell, and kind of so on and so forth, right? So, oh, look at that. I got the from Tiger's Daywalker, kind of like showing me kind of like what he's doing. Isn't this kind of like amazing? He is having a great time. So interesting that this is coming at this moment, because I was like thinking, what's happening? Did he injure himself? So this kitty here is just leaving a fight. There's like something you don't want to fight over anymore. And it is really good. Like kind of like it looks like your decisions are going to serve you well this particular month. You're going to have people coming from all the sides, and these people will be actually helping you in more ways than one. You want to be victorious, so that means that there is a possible some argumentative nature, or that you maybe want to get a job. I mean, lots of pentacles, it means financial fortune. It can mean kind of like getting ahead, and it can also mean And the sky kitten is like speaking your own truth, which is really interesting because sky kitten is very similar to Ace of Swords. So it's almost like you need to kind of like have some kind of like release. I mean, I can see that over here. And that is kind of like making you kind of like leaving you with a feeling of happiness. There is like this new beginning that you're feeling, that you're turning a new leaf. You're possibly leaving this kind of like rough things behind, and things are actually really working out. So let me quickly grab a chakra card over here. Oof, you have release. Well, first of all, release is the top chakra, crown chakra, right? So it's kind of like directions are coming from above, so it can be back and forth. It can be you communicating with quote unquote a creator, or vice versa. The story here is really interesting because it's talking about this lady that is kind of like cutting through the graveyard and she's going home, right? It's just like, oh, this is the shortcut. Like, I mean, I'm kind of like not concerned, but like, I mean, there is like this wind and the rain and the dust is kind of like being raised, but then the storm starts and storm starts to kind of like thunder, and it's telling her like this really horrible things about herself, right? And it's kind of like almost like it's repeating like all the painful things that she has spoken. You know, we say things recklessly without taking other people's feelings in consideration. And you know, like, I mean, all of a sudden the storm is like mirroring everything back to her, and is basically saying, you know what, you know, well, the way that you treat others, now you're going to be treated this way. So suddenly she is realizing kind of like it's a little bit of self, kind of like introspection, what she did, and kind of like, and how not only how she hurt other people, but how she was making herself vulnerable. So how is this applying to you, kind of like me, my dear Taurus? There's like some level of personal responsibility, and there is like some kind of blame that is going around over here, right? So it's time to clean all these debris and move on. So are you blaming somebody, or somebody's blaming you? If this is you who is blaming, you're going to kind of like get the short end of the stick of this, or you'll have to see the light, or vice versa, right? And it's kind of like time to kind of like let go of that past and kind of like move. So this is also sometimes feeling really angry, which I can kind of like see it here. You're trying to do something about it, and almost like it feels like that maybe you're kind of like trying to set a trap. But I also feel you're going to have huge change in consciousness. And so karma card and this combined, because all of the gray ones here would be kind of karma cards if you wish. So it's going to be some kind of like great discovery that will be happening for you this month. I mean, also I want to mention that you have 7 and 8 and 9, so something is kind of like ramping up for kind of like one period of your life to kind of like be put to rest. So Taurus, overall a really good month. I would be really happy that I get such a reading, but it's also kind of like hidden message that, you know, you have to be righteous and you have to do right by the other people, or that lack of it, or lack of some self-introspection might bring their own consequences. So hopefully, Taurus, if you need a reading with me, kind of contact me, and cattarday.ca, as you know. And don't forget, we have live readings every Saturday, 11 Eastern Standard Time. But make sure you subscribe and you put notifications so you know exactly when. So let's see, to catch up with you, kind of like fellows over here, like y'all like chit-chatting with each other. And then yoga and rain here yesterday. I think it was raining here as well. It almost like looks like you guys and we almost have the same weather, and we are not that close, so it's really weird. But we got the spring in Toronto about 1 month early this year, and everybody's celebrating. And even though it's not the warmest outside, we are really happy. Like, everything is blooming, the trees are like, that's very unusual, let me put it this way. Usually that happens mid of May over here. And then mid of May, like, I mean, everything is like naked outside in the nature. The mid of May, it starts to bloom. Within a week, it's dead. It's like, I mean, the shedded kind of like blooms. And by the 1st of June, we have the summer. So that's, this year we are granted a little bit of the springtime. Springtime. That's right, Kaylee. Kaylee. Okay, who is next? Who is next is a Scorpio. Do we have any Scorpios over here, guys? So let me put Scorpio. You are next. So my dear Scorpio, welcome to your monthly reading. And let's take your little tag out. Let's shuffle and see what is going to bring. You have a jumper. You have Earth King. This, keep in mind that Taurus is the opposite sign to yours. So this time of a year, even though it's spring for us in Northern Hemisphere, for you it could feel like that you're drained. You feel like that you cannot juggle tasks as easily because it's almost like teeter-totter, right? Somebody is kind of like weighing it down and they're kind of like really taking that spot, which means you have to take a shadow. But having said that, like, you guys are doing really well as kind of like being in the shadow because you don't mind a darkness, you don't mind exploring that kind of like things. So, and also you're also very good with finances, and this is a time for you to kind of look at the things that maybe you didn't care to look, and that kind of like sort of things, right? So let's see, what else do we have here for you, Scorpio? So Earth King is basically telling you, literally you have to look in your bank books, literally you have to look in your properties, you have to check your job, you have to see if you are where you want to be and position yourself for where you want to be if you're not there yet. And this is crossed with Sea Queen, or this can be also some kind of like couplehood, or something is going ahead. Let's see, what else do we have? We have Two of Wands or Two of Fire. We have Sky Kitten. In the past, we have Four of Earth. You see, like, I mean, it's a little bit overlapping with Taurus. And that's also, guys, check the opposite sign of yours. I do have Moon in Leo for me, and I'm Aquarius, so I always look at it. But check the opposite. It's almost like sneak peek on kind of like the vibrations. So if you're playing the teeter-totter, it's almost like knowing what kind of like can come at you, right? So then you have the floating cat, or the hangman. You have Eight of Sea or Eight of Cups. So Mercury retrograde is coming end of the month, but we are going to go to the shadow. You guys are one of those more sensitive signs. You're going to start feeling it. This is what it tells me. It could be things from the past, or it could be that you're just releasing things from the past. And we have here Sea Kitten, or a Page of Cups. There is like some kind of like romance coming to you, or there's like really bubbly time. So don't get in your own way. That's kind of like what they see here. Then you have the Chariot, and Chariot is like, as I said, setting kind of like your eyes on a goal and heading over there, and Three of Earth. So you do have, and do I have anything that can I use as a pointer? I do this. So first of all, again, you know how I said in the beginning, like when I do my own reading in 2 seconds, I know what's up. Also, and I don't know, like, do I have like the cards up? No, I don't have all the cards up. So like, how come like 2 readings in a row, like they're like all the cards are up? So this is kind of like positive, but not all cards in the upright position are positive, such as this one is not positive, right? And such as this one is also kind of like one of those neutral cards. What do we do about that kind of a thing, right? So let's start with the core over here. The core is, like, as I said already, the King of Pentacles and the Queen of Cups. This would be you. So this, if you guys have an eye on somebody, or if you want to approach your boss, if you need to deal something with the money, mortgages or something, this is the time. You're emotional ready, as you know. Like, these kind of steps are not only I want. These steps also need certain emotional core and stability, and this is like a perfect timing. It's just like everything is pulled together. these two cards that mirror each other, Four of Pentacles and Two of Fire, are telling me there is like a huge hesitation, right? Maybe you don't want to share everything that you have acquired or obtained, because the kitty cat here is hoarding his toys over here. And like, it's almost like, look, if you look at it almost like a 3D, like this kitty cat saying, come to me, and I have everything here. Almost like if you have a partner and two partners want each other, but like one is one house, one is another one, and each of them is kind of like trying to pitch which way is better way to go. Kind of like, it's kind of like really interesting. And this one is like, oh, should I go there? Should I not go there? So there is like, I mean, some kind of like debate going on over here. I don't know, maybe you're deciding to move in with somebody and then you're looking like, I mean, for and against kind of a thing. There are like lots of issues here that I have to say. So, and you're going to kind of like find yourself a little bit kind of like confused. You have a sky kitten in the past. So it could be that there was like already some kind of discussion that started that maybe was a little bit on, let's say, a blunt side. And it's almost like, sounds to me possibly a prenup of a sort that kind of like really puts a lot of freaking damper on any kind of like relationship, or it could be a contract with a job or something that you kind of like looked through it and maybe kind of like decided to go ahead even though you're not, let's say, completely crazy about it. That kind of like sort of things, right? So it is kind of like really interesting that then you have the sky kitten kind of like mirroring the floating cat. And floating cat is like telling you, and this is like definitely prescription for this month over here, that you really need to start looking at things from somebody else's perspective. It is about nurturing aspect of this month, but it's also like you, and you know, like, I mean, you're fixed on, you're controlling, that you really need to give up your control. And it's telling you, just don't worry, like there are like these two major arcana that you have, and I can see that this, and almost like stepping back and checking somebody else's perspective, is making you understand how to move forward and how to kind of like make it even better than it is. And that is really coming to you back in spades. But literally, you have to kind of like lay down your swords, lay down like your hatchet, bury the hatchet, and almost like, yes dear, yes dear, yes dear. That's kind of like what I'm seeing. And sure enough, like if you always say yes to somebody, it's going to be a peace for a while. This is not the ultimate choice, but you're doing that simply as kind of like a student of kind of like psychology, and this is helping you move forward. I'm seeing the Chariot, and this is like really amazing. The Chariot is always about being focused on your goals, knowing where you go. But there is like also your own inner debate. Should I move ahead in a couplehood or with this company or with this project, or should I move ahead with my own ideas in a different direction? And that's going to be sort of like a theme of this month, right? You're going to, toward the end, make a decision. It's not going to be an easy decision, because you will be taking so many different things in account, how and where and with whom. And I think inclination is going to be, no, I need to do it myself, kind of a thing. But then, you see, this is also mirroring each other. This is kind of like, ooh, like I should walk away from everything. And this is like, no, I shouldn't. I should be working with everybody else. So this, looking at why somebody is doing certain things the way they do, is going to help you immensely, because that's going to be sort of like when you'll be able to make a really good quality decision. So let's see. And you have, you see, service is the same thing. You kind of like are putting yourself aside for somebody else, right? Service is also falling in your favorite sacral chakra, right? Where you basically almost like you are the king and a queen of that chakra. So this is really talking about, you know, at the end of the life, the mother is dying and she's feeling remorseful that she was not working without realizing that, hey, the child is here, and everything that she has been working toward is like now producing this new generation. So being a mother is a great accomplishment. Maybe something like that, motherhood or fatherhood, is going to be prominent this month as well. So it is about seeing reality as it is, and maybe this is kind of a combination that I see here. Maybe you're going to start some kind of like volunteering as well, and it's going to be some kind of like opportunity to kind of like, maybe you need to give up of what you think you deserve, because that's what this card kind of carries in, and instead start being of service. And that can be really interesting, that you need to ask a question, what I can give this month, right? So be careful. It's going to be a little bit rigidness this month, that you will be unwilling to compromise values, even though kind of like letting go of that hold would create like, I mean, contentment and a joy. So it's about compassion, it's about loyalty, it's about strength. And so guys, this is almost like challenging you to get to that next level and to kind of like aspire to be the best you can be. So try to kind of like look into that. So let me catch up with you over here. Oh, Lorna, you have Scorpio ascendant. That's nice. So Sally, this is grateful. And that's another thing, guys, when you're here already on a reading, don't think, oh, well, she's reading Scorpio, this is not me, and this is not my... No, because you're here in live, in every single sign, you are going to get stuff that are going to be appealing to you, right? So that's really, really important to kind of like understand. All right, so who do I do next? Oh, did I put Scorpio? I did put Scorpio. We did get something here out. Virgo. Come on, Virgos. Who has planets in Virgo? I guess I have Mercury, so that's going to apply to me as well. So let's see. Let's see. Let's check up again with you. It's a little too easy to... Is it a little too early to move in with my Scorpio? Chris, we can do the entire reading for that, and those are a very simplistic way of looking at it, I would say. But I have to tell you, what I feel intuitively is kind of yes. That's what I would tell you. Is that where you're driving, Mister? And Sally, let me see. I also saw something hasn't been easy, especially my marriage, but what I have now, how I get to live is truly a blessing. So grateful for that. See, guys, like Scorpio really resonated with many, so it's kind of like really interesting. Also, if you're Taurus, Scorpio is the opposite, so it's kind of like good to look into that. So let's see over here. Virgo. Really, Kylie? Yeah, that's awesome. Like Kylie and I are like so pretty much in sync. That's ridiculous. So, because there are like also signs about you, Chris, that you're like really willing to kind of like do this kind of like part, and Scorpios kind of like are all in kind of like a type, and like you have Taurus in you, if I remember, ascendant, and that's kind of like where it would be. Is it going to be easy? I'm going to tell you right now, it's not going to be easy, but it's going to be fun. You're going to feel alive, and in the end, I think it's going to really work out. All right, Virgo, you have like this 4 of Cups or 4 of Sea, so you might be a little bit exhausted, or there is like a lethargy, or this is really telling you, okay, this is not a time to kind of like put things kind of like down or kind of drop it. Like maybe you just want to finish something and kind of like move in the next direction, but this is kind of like telling you, no, there are like things around you that can be extremely beneficial for you. And then it is Ace of Earth over here. And I really wanted to switch things, but that's okay. I already shuffled. Ace of Earth is this new beginning, and it's really kind of corresponding well with this like Sun in Taurus, so it's all good. 5 of Earth. You're leaving something behind that kind of like you felt you have been isolated, you haven't been valued, your words were not listened, and it kind of like made you feel possibly hurt or lonely. Ooh, you have the Empress, which is also lovely for the period. You have Two of Sky or Two of Swords, and you have Earth Queen, very similar energy to the Empress energy. Four of Earth, like what is this? Four of Earth is sneaking in every reading. Ooh, you have consequences, but this is in the others area. And then you have, there it is, Knight of Cups, you guys. There's a flirtation of some sort, and you also have the Knight of Swords. So I can see that the whole leading up to this month, this Four of Cups and Five of Earth and Two of Sky, and even the Ace of Earth, it's some kind of like a shift. You may be feeling there is a shift. Maybe you're feeling you want different things. You hope for different things. Kind of like there is like kind of like something that is brewing over here. This is telling you also that maybe you have neglected yourself a bit, and that this is a time to really nourish yourself. And I really mean it. Treat yourself with something nice, and that can be experience, like I don't know if you guys can have experiences where you are locked in Toronto, like there's like no hair, no pedicure, no manicure, it's just like no massages, nothing. But that to me, like, it's always like that pampering kind of thing. Or that you're going to buy yourself something, maybe something for home, like, I mean, I don't know, like, I don't know why this pillow just like stood out to me, just something frilly, something cushy, something of that sort, right? So it's going to be really interesting over here, because you are almost like on a precipice of something happening, right? You kind of like are really, as I said, reserved, or you're debating in which direction to go, or even tired, right? Or even feel, and I think this is referring to something from the past that you felt that you have kind of like walked away from it, or that somebody kind of like cut you off of a sort. But with the fact that maybe now you're patting yourself on the shoulder, you say, here, it's all good. You're giving yourself the self-support, right? Like, not many people are able to do that. And you're like blossoming really nicely to that Earth Queen, like, right? This is kind of like your sister sun sign that we are going through Taurus, and you're having both the Empress and the Earth Queen. I don't know if you guys dealing with Libras, but Libra is really showing up in your reading, which is really important. You have really reserved to kind of like move, let's say, in this kind of like new stuff, because I think these two cards are linking in your reading. It's Five of Earth, which kind of like, as I said, it could have been something that kind of like really felt that you got burned, but this is really telling you like now on that subject with that people, you kind of like moved on, and now you're extremely hesitant to go back in that kind of like space, right? But this is telling me something, that this is falling in your environment. So basically, this is the energy that is not kind of like hanging over your own head, but justice is going to be served, right? And maybe somebody's coming to you and telling you, oops, I messed up. Oops, I'm sorry. And it's coming in a way that they had to learn a lesson. It's coming in a way that you're getting this karma card showing up over here. So it's allowing you to kind of like get that justification for something that happened, and it's allowing you to kind of like release whatever, some lingering energy that I see over here. And so there is like also playful energy that I see that's going to happen. After all, you have the Earth Queen. If you guys are looking for a partner, there's going to be abundance of that, maybe even two, very different one. One is very playful and very cuddly, kind of like a type. And you might also feel like, I mean, okay, is this guy going to just, or a woman, this both ways, right? Just cuddle all their lives. And the other one is very goal oriented, right? So it's kind of interesting. The energies are very different. So it shows to me, it's showing me that you are going to get, that you're almost like turning a new leaf. And the moral of the story here with the kitty holding all of these freaking toys is to say, okay, nobody's playing with these toys, and neither do you. You are not enjoying it. The only way you'll have fun is to risk it, to kind of like try how things are going. And I think you will, but you're not going to risk it until you satisfy your own, let's say, urges and things that you really need to do. And that's why you have the Empress, and that's why you have the Ace of Earth over here. So, whoa, soulmate. This is really interesting card though, even though it sounds amazing. It's like talk to the hand, kind of like gesture over here, which is basically saying, you know, kind of like this dude over here wanted to basically say goodbye to his girlfriend because he kind of like likes only those, what did they do here? He only likes the parts of a relationship when everything is fine, right? When he can just enjoy and like it kind of like honeymoon period, and we know kind of like going into this kind of like true relationship is really not easy, and some people just don't find this appealing, and I think this is very prevalent in a society right now. So he knows, oh, you know, and this is that hump that I have to say somebody goodbye, and it's going to just be, I'll feel bad for a second, when then I'm free, kind of a thing. But this girl that he's with kind of like catches him, and she says, well, I can't believe it, I love you. And then he's just realizing in that moment consequences of that decision, that he might step on something that is special, and in this moment he realizes in his like kind of like breath, oh my god, I actually love her, this would be awful. So this is like about duality of life, that sometimes you're pricked, right? When you grab a rose, even the rose is so beautiful, and you can see here, that's what happened to yours truly over here, right? And there's like about a new way to live kind of a thing, and this clearly talks about love. Love is that moving matter. So the Empress is that motherly, universal love over here that is going to be something that's going to fulfill you and many people around you. So you might be a little bit resistant to commit about this or to maybe trust, but it's going to be a little bit of, let's say, unexpected outcome and surprises this month. So as I said, your goal, you need to pamper yourself. You need to make sure that you're feeling content and you're feeling good about things, but at the same time, you know, don't feel hesitant to rejoin or join and that kind of stuff. And that's going to be very, very important over here. So very strong message, Virgo, over here. Hi, Ekat, nice to see you. So she's getting a pedicure, so I didn't even see that here. So getting the message to loosen the reins, Chris, and stay in the present and let things happen naturally. Really, I'm kind of like almost getting I don't feel that, Carly. I don't know, I guess it can be interpreted that way. It's weird because usually you and I are in sync. I'm kind of like feeling that he is like fully smitten, and that he's like really afraid because of it, kind of like, but kind of like, hey, I'm not 16 anymore, and kind of like, let me kind of like see, I should be more mature. But I really also feel that this is kind of preventing, I guess that's kind of like what you said, preventing enjoyment of a sort. All right, so let's do that. Let's do that. Nice to see you, Ekat. Cool. So sounds like my ex-Gemini. It could be Gemini. That's kind of like why it is. Like they are very bubbly and everything, but like also very flighty. And it's kind of weird. You think, oh my gosh, we are really hitting it off, and then next moment, you know, they are just not in your life anymore. So that's problems with Geminis, I guess. But also they're so much fun, or at the very least they're ridiculous, right? Kind of like everything can be kind of like be seen. So who is next here? I'm talking to you like I'm talking to Tiger. We have Taurus. No, Taurus, you already got your reading. So You see, that's what happens with Gemini. I know. I have a few girlfriends, Geminis, and they are in and out of my life. And I just learned that I cannot count on them anymore. But I also accepted the way it is, that they're bubbly and fun while they're in my life. And there's no particular reason. It's just like, I guess they're very flighty. That's all there is. Okay, I need to keep ramping this up. So, Cancer, welcome to your May reading. So let's see, what do we have in store for you. You already have a card, the Lovers. It's weird, my ex-husband is a Cancer, and he told me there's something off with his health, but he's also not speaking very much, which is very typical of Cancer. He's going to tell me in 2 years everything that happened. So instead of like having somebody who can, I guess, help him going through all of that, but I guess sometimes you choose to go on your own. But Cancers, this means you obviously have somebody. There's like one person, one confidant that you really kind of like have and you want to deal with, and that's really, really important. And this is crossed with a karma card, Ace of Sky or Ace of Swords, which talks about the victory. Something is resolved, or there's a relationship, you're winning somebody back, or you're moving in the direction where you want to go. If you don't have a relationship, then somebody, if you're open to it, somebody will show up on the horizon. It's going to be all well. Then you have a Four of Sky over here, or Four of Swords. And that's exactly what I was telling, like kind of like you kind of like go, like you just like want to have a small cushy environment. And then you have like Two of Pentacles, and that's this kind of juggling thing, and there's like a Four of Cups here. So you can see there's like a lots of kind of like everybody leave me alone energy that is showing up, unless you're really close to him. And then this is like you, I think this is you opening up to that flirty and cuddly energy, right? This is like a Knight of Cups, which is really lovely energy. Except like we kind of like, it's almost like receiving compliments or giving compliments. Except with this energy, it's always off when kind of like other people are not sure like why you're doing that, right? If this actually has a staying power. Ooh, Nine of Cups is in your own house, which is lovely. You feel contentment. This is also water like you, and that contentment is very real, and your dreams are very real. You kind of like are not giving up, let's say, on life. Like you're feeling there's something really new, something really good happening. And you have a Sky Kitten in your environment. Somebody's coming up with weird ideas, with maybe bluntless, with anyway, they're going to put everything on the table, which is really good. And then you have Two of Fire over here. And then you have the Eight of Cups reverse, somebody coming back. I think this is the very first reverse card that I have, like in this like 1, 2, 3, 4 reading. So it's kind of like very positive energy overall. I mean, even though it's positive, this is still telling you like there you may be like chew on too many things over here, and this is like what is making you tired and exhausted, and you're not engaging, and this is like kind of like back away, everybody kind of like leave me alone kind of a thing. And it's really interesting because also these two cards are mirroring each other, sort of like this Nine of Cups. Nines are kind of like also very solitary kind of like a number where generally you're happy with yourself no matter where you are. This kind of like can talk about emotional happiness of a sort. But Eight of Cups is almost like a step back. And as much as Eight of Cups, when it's upright, talks about walking away, somebody walking away, somebody not being sure that they're like fulfilled, that they are getting what they need to get. But this is kind of like once when somebody walks away and they actually don't find what they thought they would get, and then they come back, energy that is coming back. So it almost looks to me that maybe you close yourself up, maybe with just this, if you have a wife or husband or somebody close to you, this is almost like the only person you're allowing an input. right? So also these two are very similar energies, so I'm tending to think you might be dealing with a Gemini or with an air sign over here of a sort, and you're really not sure what to make out of it. And then how you're going to process this is going to say, well, actually, am I happy? It's going to be only one question you're going to be asking yourself: am I happy? What do I do about that? And then that's where this flirtation kind of like starts coming through, and kind of debacle. How do I go about it? It almost like could also be seen that you had a breakup with somebody, and that somebody's coming back, or you're coming back to them, or you're allowing somebody to come back to you. And I can see that reunion, I can see that things working out, and I can also see that, also look at these like twos are mirroring each other, like two of earth and two of wands. It's kind of like one is like, how long do I have to keep holding this position? This is uncomfortable, versus, yeah, I don't know if I really want to move forward, kind of a thing. I do know what I want, but it's just like takes so much energy, right? Because you are shown with this card, the Chariot, and Chariot is like pure freaking energy. It's just like a ball of fire kind of a thing, right? And kind of like, almost like I would tell you that this month you don't have to do much. Everything is going to come to you. So you can kind of like eat your cake and have it too, because you will want to be on your own. You will want to relax. You will want to feel happy. And it almost looks like everything that comes your way is going to kind of like help with that. So let's see, what do we have here? We have expansion, and this is like falling in your communication chakra, right? So I guess goes to show, like, I mean, somebody's going to say, hello, where are you? Talk to me. It's very, very important, right? And so what is really, really good about this one, it's kind of like we see almost, I love this yellow energy. So this is kind of like telling me that you need to recharge your batteries, right? Of some sort, right? And it's also like, I mean, whenever we see the sky god in these cards, it's kind of like, hey, you know what? You need to see something in order to trust that this is going to happen. So I think the whole debacle here is like about choosing the color of the sky. And he's asking, okay, what color should it be, right? And then everybody's basically telling him their options. And then finally, the sky god is saying, well, you know what? Why don't you trust your intuition? And you're going to know that right color once when you see it, kind of a thing. You know, like when you date somebody and somebody tells you, I don't know what I'm looking for, I'll know when I find it. And you always think, yeah, you're full of it, kind of a thing. But this is exactly what it says, because, you know, so sky god was trusting his own intuition, and then he's kind of like had this vision, oh, that should be blue, and that's how the sky becomes sky blue, kind of a thing. So this is about asking for advice or getting an advice, and it's almost like going in your territory. It's trusting your intuition. It is about creating powerful basically unions and alliances. And even though it could be the old person re-entering your life, it's going to feel, looking at this person like a new person. So it's somebody who is going to also provide you spiritual support, not only emotional support. And I think that's how you'll be able to kind of like gauge how good that person is for you. All right, Cancer? So don't forget, guys, to click like, I guess. Don't forget, guys, to order the reading from me if this resonates. And don't forget to join live. So I'm just doing this because I will be slicing this video, so I just want this to be at the end of each video. So who is next? There it is, like your Vegemite sandwiches. I have to go to Australian store here and buy it finally and try it. I guess it's like somebody says it's gross until you really eat it a few times, so kind of like it's acquired taste, but I've been known to eat even a lobster ice cream, so I can try everything. And then we have Gemini. We don't have Geminis here, or do we have Geminis on our kind of like little thing here? Come on, guys, admit it, you're Gemini. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Gemini. Okay. Cancers are cuddly, that's right. Cancers are also very sexy. And Cancers are also very private. But Gemini it is. Gemini, you're getting 3 of sky that wanted to jump out. Did you guys have somebody kind of like do something hurtful to you? Did somebody break your heart? This one wants to come out. And this is like a fire kitten. And it's a kitten, which means like maybe you're starting to date somebody and it just like didn't take off, kind of a thing. Fire talks about possible sexual activity, and then sexual activity was not exactly like the purpose, because you try everything, you kind of try everything, people, dear Geminis, and but you still have your own agenda. So people kind of like think this light bubbly nature kind of like is the kind of like rule of a day, and then you go, you know, that's not what I want something different. And then it is Sky Queen. This could be you kind of like pulling in what are your needs, what are your takes. And there is a Fire King, and he's reversed. So maybe that was somebody who was wooing you or romancing you, who maybe appeared to be serious but turned out not to be serious. This usually talks about somebody who is entrepreneur or has their own practice of a sort. It could be a professional. These people are movers and shakers, and they're expending lots of energy, kind of a thing. And I can see this, it actually went from woo to small fire. So you kind of like, you start feeling almost like the writing is on the wall. Maybe you're feeling there was like a third party here still involved, and maybe that there's person you're dealing with is a player. But this is like really good thing about Gemini. You're looking at it, and some other person, let's say water signs, would take it, oh, why is he or she doing this to me? And you're thinking, well, you know, I kind of like him or I like her, but I also kind of like have, this is like what I want long term, but this is what I want for me, this is what I want to do, kind of thing, right? So, and then you have 5 of Earth over here, and 5 of Earth is now combined with like, so this is 5 of Pentacles combined with 3 of Sky. There is like a 3-party situation, guys, here. You are well aware of it, you know. So whether this is an active 3-party situation or passive, what I mean, like that somebody's actively dating several people, and I don't think this is you, I'll be honest, but we will see. Or passive, where the exes are pulling the strings. I mean, for that, more or less, I would see the Devil card showing up. See, again, this also is a great card. It's falling in your own house, but combined, so this is the magic of tarot or disaster of tarot combined. I keep seeing somebody interfering. I can see it here, 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 I can see it here. Or maybe you have somebody on your mind, and because you're still hooked, you cannot move forward. That also can show that you feel like right, there is not energy to kind of like push you in a new direction. So then we have 7 of Earth, then we have the cat magic or the magician, and then we have 3 of Fire, which is yet another one. So this is you. This is that very mercurial things. It's falling in your hopes and fears. And I also see 3 of Earth. Sometimes it's very mercurial because it's understanding that few things need to come together in order for things to happen. So the right time, right place, right person, kind of like a combo that really happens. I think that somebody is keeping an eye on you, and maybe this is what it is. It's almost like in your head you feel that somebody is going to change their mind, but I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening anywhere over here. The 7 of Earth is like that, kind of like positioning themselves. Somebody knows what they want. This is not you, and you want collaboration. Like, I mean, they're both Earth. Like, look at Earth and Earth and Earth. So you have lots of earthy things happening during this Earth period during Taurus. I can see that here, but I really don't think that you'll be able to truly jump. It is actually telling you that this is It's telling you that you have all the tools to move forward, but it's not telling you necessarily that you should move forward with the person that you are anticipating. So it's almost like the train has left the station, right? And you're still trying to be both on the train and in that station. So this is like kind of like where it shows that you will need other people to help you push through. You will need to use really your intellect, but sometimes you will neglect your intellect and you will go with whatever somebody else wants, and that can be costly for you. So just keep that in mind, right? Mysticism. You'll be doing tarot cards. You'll be coming to me for a reading. You're welcome, catarot.ca. Mysticism is a really interesting card. And even though it's called mysticism, I find it really weird how it was explained in the book. It is about people trying to have, I think, a card game or poker, something of a sort, right? And so suddenly I think they are receiving a phone call, if I remember. And the phone call goes, woman is confirming that she's going to be there, right? And then like 4 of them are invited, and like, I mean, 2 of them are married and 2 others are known to each other, right? And there's 1 woman and a man. So then they're assuming this woman must be this guest of this man. Like, I mean, what's going on? But as she's approaching, they really don't know who she is. So there is where the mysticism comes from, right? So this is about being an observer. This is like simply telling you, okay, it's going to be a puzzle. And I told you, like, it's not going to be solved during the month of May, right? So the unknown is going to be very palatable for you this particular month, right? So, but at the same time, you're not going to be fearing anything. You're getting this cat magic, which is helping you to push yourself in a new direction. At the same time, this is telling you that you're ignoring signs, that maybe somebody has interesting motivation, let's put it this way, and somebody's really having a fear of moving forward, and I don't think that someone is you. And so to summarize, I think somebody is possibly commitment phobic you're dealing with, and you want to show them, remember, show them how they shouldn't, and this is never how you do connect with somebody, because showing them is not the same as emotionally connecting. And by showing them, they might even feel repelled because they will feel that you want to earn them. Remember, we are going through Taurus season. It might be transactional. You might do the sex with them and bake cookies for them, and they'll think, oh my gosh, I'm not ready for this level of commitment. So no good deed goes unpunished, as you can see how that can explode. So hopefully, kind of like Gemini, gave you some perspective over here. So how many signs did I do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, quickly, 1 more to squeeze it in the hour. And we have Pisces. So now we are going to be dealing with a gentle energy over here. Let's put the stamp over here. That's more or less for me, I guess. Slicing it later on today or tomorrow. 1 more. Thanks, Barbie. That's what I was calculating. Am I on time? Kind of like a thing, because this is going to last a little bit longer. Oh, look at that. You have the wheel. You have the Wheel of Fortune turning in your direction, which is actually really lovely energy. It's also a karma card. It's telling you if you had troubles recently, if you dealt with something, now things are going to start to spin in a good direction. Yes. Some of you may have had relationship woes. Some of you may have had lost somebody. Maybe, somebody walked away. And this is going to prove to be blessing in disguise. So let's see, what is this all about? You also have 8 of Sky or 8 of Swords. And you have a 4 of Cups. Yeah, it looks to me, my dear Pisces, you walked into this month disillusioned. Oh, 7 of Sky. That's one of those people taking things from us when, looks to me that you really want something to happen, and it's not going to happen. It's going to be pushing in a different direction. It's going to be the best thing that happened to you that this didn't happen to you, if you know what I mean. But you're going to just kind of like observe that later. And there it is, the floating cat. It's that essence of, who had it? Was it Taurus that had it, or Scorpio? I think Scorpio, right? You need to kind of like relinquish the control. You kind of like need to drop down things and kind of like really see why certain people are behaving certain way. This is usually causing paradigm shift. And there it is, you have the Emperor reversed. In your own house, you're feeling completely out of control. You're feeling that everybody else is domineering your life. It's going to be very uneasy feeling. The environment, the consequences. So now we have 2 karma cards and you have like 4 majors. So far this is a very strong reading, in a sense that is going to be one of those shifting months. So let's see what else you have. You have a 2 of sky, or 2 of swords in your hopes and fears. And then you have 9 of earth over here. So 9 of earth is like feeling comfort within yourself. So you're like heading there that way. This month is going to have this kind of like feeling. But at the same time, it's going to be a lots of bumps in the road in this particular month. So let's go with the core. As I told you, you have the Wheel of Fortune, and then you have like this 5 of Pentacles over here, right? So together they're forming 15. 15 is the devil, and it could be a third-party situation. It could be that you're still sleeping with your ex, my dear Pisces, and even though you kind of like get your, I guess, emotional satisfaction or sexual satisfaction, you're left feeling empty after that, right? And I think you're going to start feeling that, it is time to cut that bond, because holding on that bond is preventing you, like, of moving forward, right? And I can see also lethargy in kind of like pushing things forward, and that's why you have the 7 of swords. Look at him, he's grabbing his little mousey while somebody's being distracted, and such a royal Bengal kind of like kitty cat over here. So it's kind of having an eye on the goal but dropping something else, and which is interesting because right after would be the 8 of swords. It's kind of like catching yourself in the caught into mess. So it's almost like stepping into something that maybe you didn't want to step in, and that's why you have the 4 of cups, and you're asking yourself, how did I find myself in this mess? And you're feeling fear. You're feeling that threat is coming your way. You're not feeling safe. And you're feeling that almost like you cannot make a difference. So it's a very uneasy feeling. It's very uneasy kind of like way of going through it. But sometimes, and this is the wheel and the Buddhism kind of like tells you kind of like, hey, this too shall pass. You're doing great. Awesome. This too shall pass. You're devastated. You know what? This too shall pass, right? Because it continuously moves and continuously changes. And we forget that, especially when things are going well for us. So if I can give you any kind of like words of consolation, is that this is here for a reason. This is here protecting you. These are 2 karma cards. It's almost like that you have a godlike kind of like system in place that is protecting you of pushing yourself deeper, because you're going to get to some point, because this is the upgrade of Empress, the Empress energy, right? It's 3 energy, this is 4 energy. So it's masculine and feminine. The question here for you is, have you defined yourself, who you are? Do you think always that you are just getting crumbs? Do you feel that you always kind of like get a lesser job or lesser boyfriend, that you are treated as a lesser human being, right? And that maybe you decide, oh, on my own, I'm just okay. This still simply tells me you need to redefine yourself, who you are. This is also about balancing the scale. You'll have the person, or if you're maybe dealing with the legal things, this also can talk about divorce, guys. That can be seen here as well. Somebody from the outside coming through, and hence you're feeling in which direction I go. Kind of like karmic lesson in this is to trust that everything that is happening for a reason. At the end of the month, you're going to sail at the end of the month feeling comfort and feeling comfortable financially. satisfaction wise, emotionally, you're going to feel in a sense that you do not want a relationship. So you will need to ask yourself, did you get yourself in that situation because you just simply feel that it's not worth it to deal with the other people, or simply you have been just burnt? In any case, you will just take some time for yourself and you're not going to regret it. But buckle up for this kind of like rocky road. It might be a little bit bumpy, as I said, but you are getting a solution. Kind of like try to understand each time that you feel that you are maybe violated, that you lost your footing, that you are losing advancement, kind of like possibilities. You need to ask yourself, okay, what is the bigger picture in this? Why am I doing that, right? So it's going to be really interesting, Pisces. It's not going to be easy month. I'm not telling you anything else. Oh, there I go. That just confirms everything I was telling you, right? Like you're getting this enlightenment kind of an enlightenment thing. It's the solar plexus. It's about the energy. It's about confidence. It's about trusting yourself. So the little boy is coming to this kind of like sage and guru and say, okay, well, where do I find this enlightenment kind of a thing, right? How do I get there, right? And then he tells the boy, you get there through your fears. You face your fears, and this is in your own mind. So you need to remove all these clouds. So in this kind of time, in this May time in your journey, guys, relief is waiting. But you know, journey is more important than the destination. So you are not to set goals. You're just simply to just sail through wherever it is. Just think about the airplane landing, right? And it's a really, really windy and it's not fun, but it's going to be over soon. That's kind of like how I see the month over here for you. So it's also about trusting your intuition, and you will really need solitude this month. So allow yourself to kind of like go through it, and things, trust me, will be fine by the end of the month. And you're going to start reclaiming your value. You're going to start kind of like moving in a new direction, and these are all plus and plus over here. So let's see, 84. My gosh, Barbie, like you're doing so well. We are not that warm over here. So now it's a break because you're going to have doors. You're going to have a pick a card over here, and we are going to do that. So I am going to just cut this in three, so I'm not going to close the thing. But guys, think about your question. And oh, Sally left us. Oh, I just didn't catch up. So Sally, hopefully see you later. Glad that you managed to stop by. So let's see, guys, what's going to happen. So this is going to be door number 1, the one on the bottom, 2 and 3. Let's see what is in there. So the first one is Knight of Swords. It's really telling you that going in a direction right now, trying to demand this would create some really harsh realities for you. And it's not impossible. The Knight of Swords is a battle, right? But I would not advise going in this direction, and you would have a lots of negatives coming your way as a result. So it's not even viable over here, right? My gosh, the door number 2 is 10 of Swords reversed. So now it just tells me that there was like a time where you felt, I guess maybe you felt wounded, maybe you felt, you know, that you are like fighting against the all odds, that something is not going to happen. This can also be referring to relationship, because it kind of like felt, you know, that you really don't want to be on your own, that you, in a choice between you with someone and you on your own, you really, really wanted that kind of like mix to happen. Here it's really talking about healing your own wounds. You have to pull all of these swords out, right? And then lick your wounds before certain things can happen. Having said that, the worst is over, and now things are actually really moving in a good direction, right? And the door number 2 is the Sun reversed, and this is a yes. it's not going to be something super spectacular, but it's going to happen. Almost like, to some extent, I like the sun even a little bit better when it's reversed, because it's not that scorching thing. Sometimes it's like too much of a good thing and then you feel exhausted right after. This is just this nice little sunset kind of a thing that can work really, really well. And Barbie also said cards for the mods. Let's do that now, so you guys have your own. Do you have the mods for me? I can go scrolling down. I know we have lots of mods today, and I'm so glad, guys, that you are all here. But let's see. Knitting Yogi, you are getting Knight of Swords. So you need to speak your truth. There is like a fairness over here that needs to be, it's very, very important. And it's also about balancing kind of like approach and kind of like really strategizing your way moving forward. Then the next one was Kylie, and you're getting the moon reverse jumping out. It's like your intuition is really, really heightened. But when the moon reverses, is telling you kind of like try to mix your intuition with strategy, with kind of like what is happening, because that's kind of turning into really, really good mix. The moon card is also telling about waking up from some kind of like a story, and maybe you're thinking somebody is just giving you, you know, lines, and you're kind of like tired of that, right? Barbie, we are talking about 10 of Wands. Where are you heading? You need to see something. Something is becoming hard. Something is creating a burden for you, my dear. And you need to kind of decide what is doable, what is not doable, what you want to move forward, what you don't want to move forward. He can injure himself with trying to carry. Are you trying to carry other people's burdens? And no good deed goes unpunished kind of a thing. That's kind of like what I see over here. So it's time to drop it. It's time to be transparent. It's time to put your cards on the table. That's all that matters. So Sally left, but I'm going to pull one card for her here. It's the Fool reverse, kind of like, hey, be careful, don't make foolish steps. It's okay to kind of try new different things, but kind of like think through about it. Creative Guru, good morning, sweetie. You get the Ace of Swords, Karma card, victory. You're cutting through some stuff. You're reestablishing yourself. You're landing on your feet. It's all kind of like really, really good over here. And so, Chris, let's see what we get here. Chris, you have the moon, and this one also wants to come out. Oof. There is your Scorpio, the Pluto. Your Scorpio, my dear Chris, I have to tell you, you're really smitten. The moon is like, all you can think it's romance. The moon, however, shows, see, this is like my intellect of Aquarius versus what cards show. The moon shows enchantment, but when the day comes, things appear to be different. Oh my gosh, when it comes to that, guys, check this series if you didn't watch the Russian doll. Really interesting on that subject. So the moon, it actually talks about the jealousy, and I can see that here, and there's like this connection and judgment. This tells me that the woman you're with needs to clear certain karmic residue, and this is going to be happening through this romance. It's neither good or bad, it's neutral. We just kind of like got a card here. So, but keep this in mind, that there's going to be some release happening over here. Lorna H. Ooh, you have the Justice reversed. This means that you might be on the receiving end of something, and don't overreact if something happens to you, because simply it's balancing the scale if you wish. It might feel that you're on the short end of the stick for something, or something is not happening or coming your way. It's all good, because something else is going to come in. Like, I mean, we don't know. It was something from the past lives, and like, why is this happening to me? And it happens in the future. So I'll tell you like about apropos that. Is like what happened to me last week. I did send my computer, my laptop, and I have one of those, this ultra thin kind of like notebooks back to HP to fix it, because of course nothing is open over here in Toronto. And and it came back, it worked out, and they picked up the bill on top of that, which was all good. But when the laptop came back, it had a whole bunch of scratches, and it almost looks like somebody spilled water. So I'm like, oh my god, I fixed like, $20 thing, and now I have like, hundreds of dollars damage. So I'm writing back to them and saying, oh, what do we do about that? And it's kind of like, well, we don't know, like, will we fix the thing? I said, but so that's this judgment, like, getting punished for something I didn't do, kind of a thing, right? And then basically 2 days later, you don't hear from them, they close the case, it's just like F you, kind of a thing. And 2 days later, I'm getting out of nowhere email say, oh, well, we reopened your case, we looked into that, we are going to send you a new computer. And it's not only the same one, but it's the upgrade. So I'm getting basically almost like given $1,000. So that's kind of like the judgment. You just need to eat it. If you eat it, which was really hard for me, because I didn't want to go, what do you mean? It's just like I really ate it because I was distracted with the other things, but it kind of works. Who else is there? Did I do Lynn Westbrook? I don't think I did. Lynn Westbrook is, you're getting 5 of Swords. So there's going to be some kind of win you're going to have in your life. Be really careful who you step on, because these people might be playing the karma in your life later, right? So don't win at any cost. That's kind of like the message over here. I did Sally, I did Lorna H, I think. Did I forget somebody? If I did, you raise your hand, you wanna commented, ask me questions right now. And guys, this is only for the moderators, as you know. I'm just scrolling down to see if I forgot anybody. I think these are all. See, this is kind of juggling my memory, which is great. Kind of have a little bit of cognitive exercise. I did Creative Guru. Hello, Aya, Patsy, nice to hear you. And I think I did all over here. So we will, hopefully, if I didn't, somebody's going to raise their hand and not to feel offended. So let's go into second part. Second part is starting with Leo. So let's do Leo. Hello, Leo, in your monthly reading. Let me put the stamp here for you. Leo, don't forget to come to our chit chats live on Saturdays, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And let's see what this month brings for you. You're a fixed sign, just like Taurus. And every single sign has a jumper. Isn't this weird? Ooh, you have stars. Leo, like your opposite sign is Aquarius, right? And this is basically what rules Aquarius. And it always talks about a counterpoint in your life, which means some balancing is really needed. But look at it, the kitty cat is aspiration, is like going to be big and strong and big cat and the king of the jungle kind of a thing, right? So there is like a need of you to kind of like take a reign. But this is at the same time, like your card is strength. And you can see a woman petting a lion, and the strength card is number 8. This is a card number 17, which is like revisiting hope and love and luck, not lack, luck, right? And but it's 17, and 1 and 7 is also 8. It's a little bit of higher vibration, so which means you're pushing yourself in a really a good direction. So let's see what else. And then I have like 3 of Sky. You could be feeling there is a third party around you of some sort, or that somebody hurt your feelings, that somebody, because it's communication card, right? It's swords. It's not the same impact, for example, as let's say 3 of Cups reversed. It's kind of like lots of things are going on in your head, and maybe certain things are even being unsaid. So you have a 10 of Cups. You're clearly, it's reversed, so you're pushing things forward by pretending that everything is well, where actually it isn't well. You're really trying to be hopeful, which is good. I can see like this is a really actually good attitude. It's something or somebody let you down, and you're saying, okay, I know this person or the situation is not good for me. I need to push forward, and you are working on it, right? Four of Cups, it's kind of like feeling tired and feeling like nothing comes to me. I'm dealing with too many things already. And then you have a Sea Queen, and that is emotional fulfillment, right? And that's basically the fact that you are pushing yourself through it. You're putting the strong face and happy face. It looks like it's being rewarded. You're pulling your emotional center. It's coming there. And also look at the confirmation again, Nine of Sea. Some of you are going to feel bigger comfort of being on your own, and maybe this is like debate in your own head. Again, there was another sign, I cannot think which one, is like, should I stay in a relationship, or I think it was a Scorpio that I had it. Look it up, that reading. So this is really interesting because we're going from 10 to 9, right? So this 10, when cards reverse, they either go this way, right? They go forward, right? And then you go back to the Ace of Cups or Page of Cups, or you go backward. So it's going back to the situation that it was the last known to you that kind of like created comfort. So maybe you're going from being with somebody to being on your own, and I think this is your choice, and this is kind of like what is needed, that somebody was not, I guess, emotionally fulfilling, and somebody was maybe unavailable of some sort. Maybe that somebody was Aquarius, air sign, but I also see water sign possibility here as well. And then this is your card. You have the Sun reversed, right? And it's good. Sun is the sun. It doesn't matter if you see the sun outside or not. As long as the sun is pulling and giving us the energy, we have that nourishment. So it is kind of like telling me that you are revitalizing yourself, like something is pushing in a new direction. So you have this energies of one over here, that even though you know where was the space that you kind of like felt comfort, you also know that you cannot stay in the spot. You have to keep moving forward, and things are going to really work in that direction. And then you have like the Six of Earth over here, and the Six of Earth is your environment, which kind of like talks about giving and sharing, and there is like some essence of generosity that I see over here, invitation of the other people, or gifting something, or some kind of like volunteer work. But this is more or less applied onto you because it's in the environment. But it could be that you're in that setting, and that setting is going to really bring the best out of you. And then you have a Two of Earth. So it's mirroring, right, the Four of Cups, which again can talk about the third party. It's almost like, yes, that you have something pulling you back throughout the month, but you are pushing yourself to move forward. You like your intellect and your efforts, you're like almost like fighting yourself, you're winning over yourself, and that's important. Then you have a Sky Queen, you have a Sea Queen, you have a Sky Queen. So one is like emotional fulfillment, one is a strategy, one is like knowing where you're heading, one is knowing, well, you know what, I know this is not going to work, or this is going to work, and you make really quick decision. And sometimes these decisions are not in tune with your emotional, what you want, emotional wishful thinking. Oh, I want this guy, I want to be with Brad Pitt. Well, not going to happen, I'm not his type, and don't know the guy, don't know how to, you know what I mean over here, right? So it's going to be possibly the merge of the things, or you will have, if you're a man, a couple of very different women wooing for you. One can be overly emotional, and kind of like, it's going to be initially really appealing, but you're going to feel like, can I handle it, right? Because almost like you feel that the person is maybe too fragile. And the other one is going to be maybe even a little bit mysterious, maybe even a little bit harsh, but also very intriguing at the same time, kind of like somebody who's holding their own. In any case, if you're a woman, this could be different aspects of you that you kind of like have it as I explained, kind of like going in different directions. Look at this, Kylie. And impatience. Impatience is about this dude who wanted to have morning come, right? It's communication kind of segment. You want something to happen, and what he did, because the moon didn't show up, and moon didn't show up because it was cloudy, but he decided, I'm going to put the moon up. I'm going to put the moon up, right? So he puts the moon up, and he kind of like holds this moon with this cord over there, right? He's hold it, but then he kind of like fall asleep, I guess, after holding this cord for a while, and then he awakens, and all of a sudden the dawn is there, the day arrived after all, but he doesn't see the sun because the moon is kind of covering it right now, right? So this is really telling you that sometimes decisions can create kind of like barriers in the future, right? So make sure that you're not jumping a gun, that you're not jumping in the relationships, I guess, over here, because you might have the options, right? Also thinking like, well, you know, like if he or she doesn't want me, oh, what do I do? It's almost like scarcity thinking. You need to kind of like start realizing that you're going to get the success through patience, and it does take some kind of like back and forth, and it's going to be some kind of revelation of, I guess in your case, you're that moon blocking, you may block something wonderful coming to you if you're hasty. So for example, you might be holding on to one partner where maybe somebody else is waiting, somebody else wants to be with you, and hence you're not even looking in a different direction because you have, you have the sweet spot for somebody else. And yet you will be forgetting this first woman, man, in an instant if there is this opportunity given to this other one. So be very careful. One door closes, another one opens. Open that next door. That's going to be very, very important. All right, let's see, Kylie, if Kylie sent us the something did come through, and it is Sagittarius. Well, Libra is going to be next. You're not that bad in it, but not exactly immediately next. So let's go Saggies over here. Saggies, let's put a stamp. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I'll be actually finished with these monthlies in 2 hours, versus when I do them, it's like days. So this actually has huge advantages, and then maybe I can do something extra on the side. I'll do more often this, so actually it's giving me kind of like great feeling this time around. Just have to troubleshoot how to do it. The sun is reversed, so which means things are moving forward. There is inner circle, there is outer circle. Who is in, who is out. Maybe you want to expand it a little bit. You're testing new environments, you're testing new people, kind of like that. Certain kind of like things happen, right? So it's really interesting. So there is my confirmation. Kylie says, have a spiritual timeless connection with the Leo. Oh, that's interesting. Is that the guy who kind of like used to come over here, and then I don't know where he went? I guess it was not his interest. I guess not. I don't know if you're still at, what's his name, Steve, right? Are you still in touch? I haven't heard from him in a while. Then we have Earth Kitten over here. I think he was a Leo, if I remember. Then we have the Tower reversed. Ouch! We didn't have a Tower so far. And you guys will not know why the shit hit the fan, pardon my language. So going from the sun to the Tower, it's going to be windy. That's what happens when you have the sun one moment and the Tower in the storm the next moment. That's kind of like what really happens, right? And then you have a Ten of Sky, which is also the storm. Sagittarians, what's happening? You know, there is like some interest over here, and this is typical Sagittarians, right? I'm trying to find the different people. This is kind of confirmation. And porcupine, or what is this? Is this called porcupine? Like there's hedgehog, right? I think it's the other word. There's like something going on over here. It could be some new friendship of a sort, and maybe, okay, well, let's see everything. And then we have Strength reversed. Then we have, so that's the Sagittarius Leo connection over here, that we clearly see that. And something is a little bit odd and off, possibly on a commitment level. Then you have the Priestess, the High Priestess over here. Intuition. You guys are going to be very big on intuition. And again, I'll probably will get the readings from you, Leos, cattarot.ca. Check me out. Then you have Sea Kitten over here. This is you. You're going to feel flirtatious. You have this kitten's energy already twice. You'll be attracting almost like the identical energy to you. Your environment is Ace of Sky, which is a karma card. It's somebody is going to feel victorious and powerful, and you usually, like with your optimistic nature, you like to kind of like ride this wave. You're going to say, give me some of that. It's almost like you're watching somebody eating soft ice cream. Who likes soft ice cream? And you say, oh, I want that, I want that. So there's like Six of Earth, and it's your hopes and fears, and it's a flow of energy. Whenever I see Six of Earth, I'm saying, you know, okay, so this is good. You're opening yourself to a good energy, you're giving and you're taking, and that kind of like generally signifies relationships, right? And then there's like Nine of Sky reversed. So I think, guys, what this tells me, you have the Knight of Swords, you have Ten of Swords, you have the Tower over here. There is something going to be this month that let's say it's not going to be very savory. It's going to feel, and the Tower also indicates that you're not exactly sure, kind of like that you are wrong, right? Where Tower generally asks you to rebuild certain things, right? Tower tells you, returns you right back to kind of like things, because after 16 we get 17, which is like again feeling hopeful and things are set straight and so on and so forth. But if you go before Tower, if it kind of goes in this direction, because this Tower is looking toward this Ten of Skies, or 16 goes back to 15, it can talk about that maybe there's involvement, there is like possibility of some kind of like commitment that is being interfered with possibly different things. Maybe somebody's just being flirtatious over here. Ten of Sky means reaching that rock bottom or that end. Oh my gosh, to me this is such a even painful card to interpret, right? Because the kitty cat has already lost an eye, and the tail is broken, and the thunder is happening, and some idiots are throwing the stones. There's like nowhere to escape. And so when you're in that situation, you start feeling anxiety, you start feeling frustration, you start feeling, you know, like, I mean, this is like that literally the suicidal kind of thing. But luckily for you, this is in the past. You felt cornered. And you felt cornered, I guess possibly your ideas haven't been, you know, taken in account. You haven't been valued, right? Somebody didn't want to commit, and this is all about the commitment. It's telling you to move forward, to trust your gut feelings, that you did fall in some kind of hole. I can see that. You're starting with a Ten of Sky, you're freaking finishing with a Nine of Sky. And everything else is in between, right? Trust other people. There are other people, Ace of Sky, especially if you have air signs around you. They will be bringing you kind of like tips. It's almost like that white rabbit in the Matrix. You listen to these tidbits, you walk throughout that road, you kind of like walk in that situation, or you can walk out of the situation. So you need to connect your little inner kind of like sensor, inner antennas, to kind of move in that direction. So that is really really important over here, right? It's kind of like really interesting over here, because this is also, and we will see now in chakra cards, kind of like face your own fears. You kind of like want to have this light energy, and that's what I'm saying. You're a little bit clueless about all of that, which is maybe good. So when you get a little clueless about the situation, we kind of like push things forward, maybe in a wrong direction, kind of tapping in the dark. But you're going to activate your intuition here and ask yourself how to go about it. It's going to be a lots of see, completion. It's the same thing. It's telling you you need to leave certain things in the past. There is like somebody in your life, guys, who is very harmful to you, I'll say. And also almost like it feels there are two people, and I don't know why. But it almost like feels like the second person is, let's say, withdrawn from the present time. What do I mean like that? It means that there is somebody's residual energy, and with that residual energy, I kind of like feel it's almost like as if you dated somebody or been married to somebody who how do I say this? It didn't work out, but it left an impact on you. It left really deep connection with maybe somebody shifting how you approach a situation. Maybe you or somebody, you guys are very blunt, right? Maybe you kind of express your opinion and you kind of like really hurt somebody, or you didn't see how you do things that are really impacting other people. And it was one of those kind of like car crashes, collapses, right, in your life about that. And now kind of like, even though the person is not there, this person have kind of like put you in a kind of like different kind of like different road, you know, switch this, you know, how they switch those trains over here. So this is kind of like talking about she is kind of honoring her dad, and her dad, who I think it was an actor, he even though he wanted to be known as an actor, he's being really honored as a veteran, as somebody who fought in the war and who has survived. But he kind of like always felt almost guilt, you know, survivor's guilt kind of a thing, that he's the one who survived versus everything else. But the whole thing about this whole card is like showing that there are always different perspectives from different people, and this is a reminder, especially when it comes combined with your own sign, because you're like supposed to be always uplifted and get yourself out and look on a kind of like bright side of life, right? So there is like some kind of completion here that is happening. It must happen this month. You guys maybe don't want it, if you see it here, but there is like something that must happen. This is also something about your legacy. It's kind of like some grand adventure that is ending. But this is also talking about these new beginnings on the horizon, guys. Something new that flows properly, that somebody, I would not say did their magic, because what you've been through was not easy. It was really, really hard. And I have seen that for years in your reading, but this is it. You need to reflect back on the history that happened and discover what you value most. So don't kind of like fear completion. You really need to kind of like embrace it. And it could be about some kind of like sexual escapades. It's a sacral chakra that is coming here. Could be different things. So Sagittarians, guys, it's going to be a month that you will really need to trust yourself. You will really need to apply every positivity and let bygones be bygones. Feel free to reach out to me for a reading at cattarot.ca. Leave your comments below. It's going to be really interesting. But remember, it is time to complete something. It just, sometimes it's just time to say, I honor you, I love you. However, this is a fork in the road. Our paths are separating. Very, very important over here. So Kelsey, it says, ridiculously accurate for the Saggy. I'm dating an amazing man, and I'm finding that scars from my abusive relationship are affecting how I communicate with my current partner. So you will just really need to pull that intuitively, get a counselor, get a tarot reader, somebody who will kind of like really lay down for you and walk you through it. And it almost looks like that you're in a tunnel and somebody just says, you're at the door already, just open the door, kind of a thing. Kylie said what was wrong but timing way back then. Who knows what divine has planned for the future. Hedgehogs are smaller and cuter. Oh, I see. Okay, so we have for left, oops, and there it is. You see, Kylie was very, very close. Libra, Sagittarians wanting to jump ahead, of course. You see, it said I will read Libra, but since you ask and you have Sagittarius, it pulls Sagittarian out. So let's put a stamp here. All right, Libra. Is Chris still driving? We didn't hear anything, but probably that's for the best, because we don't want driving people to hear from them and, oh, I'm waiting for 911 kind of a thing. And there it is, a jumper. It's 6 of fire. It is a sense of relief, a sense of victory, a sense of feeling that you are on the horse. Hello, Luca, how are you? There you have a Libra. Any other Libras, guys, here? We know Barbie's Libra. So let's see. 6 of fire. Ooh, you have the demon cat. But there are 2 sixes. This talks about soulmate feeling. It feels like, ooh, this person is so not good for me, but I'm going forward, kind of a thing, right? It can talk about hanky-panky. It can talk a little bit about S&M over here, guys. Just to be really blunt over here, it can feel like you're playing kind of like servants and slaves. There's like some kind of like polarity over here that is really, really happening. Then we have grace, and that's, I guess, a Sagittarius in your life. So whenever you pull Temperance card, it always tells me there's a time for healing over here. Something needs to be healed, right? So it's going from 15 back to 14. It's kind of like you picked the wrong door and now you want to close this. So this can talk also about the exes coming back in your life. Hey, how have you been doing? It's clearly, it's going to be Mercury, pre-Mercury retrograde. This is the shadow. So you're going to start seeing some of you who are more sensitive, people creeping back in your life, right? Then we have Fire King. Did you have somebody who is fire sign? Kind of like happening here, or somebody who was like sort of like doer, had lots of fire in their chart, because look at the fire that I have here over here. Then you have Chariot. Then you have 10 of fire. This is like run for your life. Like 10 of fire is the secrets. It's kind of like burdens, right? Something has been happening, and that would make sense. This kind of can indicate clandestine affair over here. Again, fire kitten. So it's a page of wands. Then you have a 4 of sea. It's kind of like lots of things happening in your life, and then you tell it to anybody to go, what, my life is just, you know, non-eventful. It's just like they almost look at you like something is wrong with you, and you're like, how is this possible? Like, you know, like, I mean, this is all happening to me, kind of a thing, right? Then you have the cat, the fool, happening in your hopes and fear. Oh, we were just talking about the cat. Who showed up? Can you say hi? Safi, do you love me? Okay, I love you too. And one more last card you need to pull is like 8 of sky. So guys, it almost looks to me it's some kind of like adventure. It's a big journey that is really happening over here, and this journey is going to have so many turns, from going like all the way pedal to the metal kind of a thing, to oh no, I'm in a ditch, help me, and not you, but you, kind of a thing, right? It's going to be extremely intense. You are going to have a really fast moving month, really fast, because it almost looks like there are going to be so many things happening. You will not be able to rely on the other people. You will be asking for help. You'll be asking that other people assist you, and it's not going to be there. It's just not going to be there. This is like 4 of cups coming in that environment. It means they are dealing with their own stuff. They're like pulling inward. Things are just really, really off. This is all happening for a reason, guys. So there is like this soulmate kind of like thing. You have 2 sixes, not karmic soulmate, but soulmate. So you need to either clean the debris, or you need to, you almost looks like you're going back in a relationship that has been, and for some reason you're feeling it might end up in the square one. Let me just put it this way, right out of the gate. And you're feeling this all along, but you're saying to yourself, so what the heck, you know, as well I can kind of like enjoy the ride as long as it lasts. And it's really telling you, you know what, anything is possible over here. That's why you have the cat. That's why you have the fool. Like, I mean, push yourself in any direction. Don't be afraid to take a challenge, even if this challenge means that you're stuck, because you guys will have ability to get unstuck. You guys will have ability. This is mirroring this fire kitten, and the fire kitten is burning his tail by being too intrigued. Curiosity killed the cat, right? The thing. But this is exactly what's going to be your month. Curiosity killed the cat, because you'll be trying so many different things with so many different people and in so many different directions. It's almost like in marketing we used to say, just like throw the like a little kind of like mud balls against the wall and see what sticks, right? it's just like you never know. Like, I mean, the pet rock is going to be the next thing to go, or the influencer who is full of Botox is going to be the it thing, right? So this is kind of like sometimes it's really unknown. And I can see a lot of those unknowns, but all while this unknown is happening, and you have the Fire King and you have Fire Kitten over here happening, you also in this unknown will have possibility of people who are guiding you through, who will be very interesting. Some of them possibly your age, some of them kind of younger. You have Capricorn, you have Cancer, you have air signs highly highlighted in your chart. So anyhow, like, my advice would be that you really have to be agile this month, because if things happen not to go in your direction, then you will really need to look for the cover really quickly, and you need to come back. But you're air sign, so I'm not worried for you, because it will be different if there is somebody who need to kind of like take their sweet time, but you are able to really think quickly on your feet, except that you might feel a bit of anxiety for things happening and coming from so many sides. But you know what, like, you're going to have the month the way that I had last 2 months, and since I'm Libra, I guess I'll continue. I mean, I'm ascendant Libra. It looks like the stuff will just continue. I just don't know where my time went for the last 2 months. It was like every day something was organized for me. Either I had to deal with a lawyer and or dealing with the things, and my dad stole something, and I just need to do his freaking criminal stuff right now, and everything is happening kind of like for a reason. But it looks like this is happening because there is like some kind of a clearance of a thing. Prayer card, it's again about pulling your solar plexus, pulling who you are. If you can see it, here is the city or the country, and it's really talking about a guy who is telling his grandson now and saying, you know, it was a time when I wanted to leave this beautiful kind of like town where we are, and kind of like I packed my bags, I told my family I'm leaving, and just in the morning I was ready to embark. But when I woke up, my dad died. He didn't wake up, and to me that was a sign that the spirit was telling me that I have to stay. So they are sipping on this lemonade. You know what they say when somebody hands you lemons, kind of like make a lemonade. And now kind of like they are like realizing kind of like this is like, I mean, turn of destiny that took place, right? But you know, the grandfather said, well, I actually never really regretted staying on the farm, right? So this kind of like cool lemonade is talking about prayers that are answered, right? And it's kind of like reminder it's always a plan. And this, you looks like very ambitiously putting in your karmic chart, oh, I want so many things to be cleared, like, and it's happening in almost like accelerated fashion over here. So it's almost like prayer is going to be really important, or connection, because you are going to show to universe that you're not just a little kind of like leaf floating on the water, that you really want to have this direction. So it's also about following where life leads. It's going to be very important. So it's going to be lots of twists and turns, and you cannot step on the brakes, literally at no point anywhere, even if this means going in a ditch. So be of service. It's going to be some sort of fulfillment, but it's going to be lots of clarity, and your destiny is going to be really clear, just like this guy kind of in the story, right? That there is some kind of plan. If you did get sidetracked, and if you end up in a ditch, right, then you'll be guided back to what is your true calling. So you will feel like, I have made my mind up, this is what I'm doing, and then something happens, and so again and again, you'll have like 5 or 6 different twists and turns this month. So guys, as I said, just keep going through it, and just take one step at a time. There is like some healing that is taking place, and it kind of like needs to be done. So I guess Aquarius is not there. We just have 3 signs left, and it's going to be interesting. So yeah, Libra, contact me for a reading if kind of like you want to get more. Caturday.ca. And don't forget our live sessions. I'm reading this on live right now. It's every Saturday 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, so we have 3 left, and the next one is, who said it? Who called it? Look at Kylie. Can you see this? kind of like she is good, isn't she? Kylie, cold Aquarius. So I guess Safi was saying, where's my reading? Everything is like, I'm waiting here for too long. So she was sleeping in a pod right next to me. And you can tell she's getting older. She's not that eager. It's so kind of sad when you see the time passage. You can watch it. On us, we don't see it as much. It's just like we become nostalgic at one point, but it is what it is, right? All right, so it's not last, it's close. So let's see. We have the floating cat for Aquarius, kind of dominant energy. And again, checking other people's perspective, acknowledging their perspectives, acknowledging why they are going through certain things, and almost like trying to see how the system that they apply would work, right? In order to really understand their true soul, which is really important over here. Then, we have Two of Cups, and there is like a lovey-dovey energy. It's like somebody is maybe going to say, okay, you're finally not as intense. I can probably now handle you, and I kind of like you. It's going to be somebody who will be telling those things to us. And then we have a Nine of Earth over here, feeling comfort where we are. This to me is always kind of like having these domestic vibes, kind of like cushy pillows, and kind of like a nice salt and lavender kind of like a soak in a bathtub, kind of like it's a comfort. But at the same time, maybe it tells me that Aquarians might be willing to revisit an idea of a relationship that, you see, there is like sort of like that polarization, kind of like in which way to go. I'm glad we are leaving these energies behind. Four of Cups is like, ugh, I'm exhausted. I kind of like feel this way constantly for quite a while, and it's almost like just dealing with things as they come and not maybe able to pounce on opportunities that are coming our way. And then we have the Emperor. Look at that, it's reversed. It's on the top over here, which talks about being in control, or I don't know if you have, this is strong, showing me Pisces and an Aries energy, or it's kind of like beginning of the year energy. To me, these energies are also very springy energy, where we kind of like start to having this new growth. And this is the upgrade of the Empress and the Emperor. It definitely talks about relationship or couplehood of some sort. And Six of Earth is also very frequently coming out in this particular May reading. It's, again, it's a really good relationship card because we are opening to give and take. So it's not a selfish, I want a relationship on my terms kind of a thing, or it's also not selfish, oh, you know, I will again have to deal with somebody else's issues, and it's going to be them calling it, which kind of like I can see it here, right? That, I'm not interested, kind of like too much trouble. We have Four of Fire. Something is happening. We are moving to the next level of some sort, guys, over here. Four of Fire is, being in a relationship, kind of like the decision has been made, kind of like let's move forward kind of a thing, right? Four of Fire is also kind of like a sign that, you know, like, I mean, things are going to work out, that other people will honor our wishes, that there's going to be successful negotiations. Therefore, there's like some kind of like being in control, being in a kind of like affirmative state. And there is environment, Earth Queen, something, and this is kind of important because it's coming through the Taurus thing, so it could be just simply Taurus energy coming our way. This also can talk about material comforts, guys, right? So we see this Earth energy coming here, very, very important, that I see that. So we have a 4 and we have a 4 and we have a 4 here, as almost like that we are enveloped with those 4s, which are really foundational energy. That's something that maybe we'll be creating this month, will create some foundations for the future, which is yay. And it's very, very strong when the Emperor comes through, and we will really know that something is happening. And also the Priest. So interestingly, we have the Empress technically hidden, the Emperor and the Priest, right? So they're like almost like a counterbalance of the sort. So Empress is the nurturing principle and cushy principle. The Emperor is like, look, we have to keep going, we have to create something. And then they say, don't forget that all of that have to make sense, that they have to be some moral reasons, they have to be some, you know, societal reasons. Take all of that in account. It's also falling in the hopes and fears, meaning that we might want to skirt something, right, off. This also, guys, can mean marriage or somebody coming on very strong. Like, I mean, the Priest is a marriage card. Especially if you're men, there's going to be somebody coming through, possibly an earth sign whose vibration is going to be that impressive that, you know, you're going to feel, oh my gosh, I really want to get married. If you're female, then, you know, maybe you're going to have a girlfriend or somebody who will just make you change your perspective and look at things in a completely different way. And Three of Earth, kind of like ending up, and again we have this Earth theme. It talks about collaboration, and this kind of tells me that this whole deal is coming in a package. And the package could be that, I don't know, somebody has an extra obligation, there is like certain delay, there are like some kind of conditions. Maybe you're meeting a partner with a child and you don't know if you can handle the child, and hence, you know, like it's going to be so much work, kind of a thing. And that's kind of like going to be entire kind of like train of thought this month. The realization that we are in control, that we can handle it, that we actually want to handle it, that maybe we are ready for this next challenge. It's really important. The Priest is saying, just don't try to invent anything new. Just go tried and true kind of a way, and that's going to be the best path forward, because it's going to allow other people to be very, very collaborative because they know the system. You're not reinventing the system as usual, Aquarius, kind of a thing, right? So let's see. Needing Yogi, it looks like it. She's asking, does this mean my prince will come? So, impasse. That's really interesting. That's the card of wrong paths, right? So this is kind of like somebody really, really wants to go. They're going and traveling, and then they see this like big dude over here. And it's interesting, we have this full moon right now as we are talking about, right? And he says, nope, over my dead body. You're not moving forward. Danger, 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 right? He said the path is obstructed. You have to take a reroute, right? So, okay, the friends kind of like say, you know what, dude, you're not letting us pass through. We'll find a different path, right? By the time they ended up being on the other side, they just kind of like look back and they realize it was a landslide and they would have claimed their lives, right? So something needs to be rerouted, right? And even though Aquarians might be inclined, well, you know, I'm cushy where I am, I shouldn't be kind of like changing the status quo. At the same time, we'll be asking ourselves, hey, how really adaptable I am. This kind of also talks about delays as well, kind of like assessing our energy. Do I really want to take this challenge? And the goal is still there. We are still heading. Maybe it's not going to be as self-evident. We have to kind of like find the route around it. But this also talks about that we need to refocus, right? We need to go in a very kind of like ordinary way of dealing with that. And that's actually almost like some kind of like protection. This can be the law as well. Follow the law to a T. Whenever, if you're in a relationship, don't be overly exploratory. I want the commitment. Kind of like very boring words will be spoken, but it's going to be important because this is about protection from harm and guardian angels. And this is also about an unbelievable opportunity, but also it has to be combined with wisdom. So Aquarius, this is actually a really strong reading. And thank you for everybody who helped me with the energy. It's kind of like, otherwise would be really difficult to interpret all of these kind of like different things happening. Aquarians, if you want to get a reading with me, contact me via catarot.ca. And join us every Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we have 2 left. We have Capricorn and we have Aries. And let's grab this one first. What did you say? Who was saying? Somebody was protecting Aries. Okay. Well, one miss, it's still good, like, because both of them are kind of like swimming there together. And oh man, I kind of feel this like aroma of the this beautiful orange patchouli soap. I have the lady that is walking my dog has a soap company, and the soaps are spectacular. Like, the whole place smells like essential oil, right? So, Chris, are you still with us, Mr. Capricorn? So let's see what we get here for you. Let's see. Capricorn. Capricorn. Creative Guru, she says, my kids are grown, love them, but I really feel done with dealing with kids. What is this, Capricorn? You getting up here, read this kind of a thing. It was just kind of like, Chris, what are you doing? This one also wants to come out. You're pushing things out. So you're getting the world reversed. Then you're getting 3 of fire. Then you're getting 10 of sky. And I'm going to read this one where it left. 9 of earth. And that's pretty much what he asked us. Am I ready to move in? I'm so comfortable where I am. My world is going to kind of like turn upside down, and it can be a disaster. You're going through lots of thinking about that, Chris, but you are willing to move forward, and this is like you're traveling. It's just showing the chariot. This is not reading for Chris, guys, but Capricorn's, he's a Capricorn, guys, and we are doing this on a live reading for those of you who are listening this at a later time. Just to let you know, when you come to live reading, you kind of get much more out of it. And there is a karma card, and the world is a karma card, and then the ace of sky is a karma card, but it's 5 of earth. You are like really afraid of putting lots of things. You're actually really afraid of failure. I will tell you this. Look at this. This is like your inner world. This is like what you're not sharing with anybody. If you guys have a relationship, you kind of like are putting out all of these right words, but you are not absolutely certain. The world is reversed. The world is not a good card when it's reversed. And it's a big card. It's the to-da moment. It's like when the karma is accomplished, right? And it really means that there are like certain things that needs to be dealt with. And if you're in a relationship, that relationship is going to test you to the core. And maybe it has nothing to do with this person. It's just like simply sometimes we need to play the role for somebody else, and sometimes you go like, oh, I just don't know. I was like me in this relationship, or I was overly emotional. You're kind of questioning yourself about certain things, right? So 5 of earth feels like feeling like an outsider, and kind of like that means like it's uncharted territories of some sort that you really don't know how to kind of like go in this direction. Like, and this is kind of like where it creates conflict. You feel powerful, you feel victorious, you want to go there, but it's just like, oh my gosh, is this going to cost me financially? Because that's kind of like one of the aspects that is kind of like question. Another one, how will others see that kind of a thing, right? And then you have the emperor in your environment, that somebody's there, somebody's maybe giving advice, that can be person of authority. This could be legal advice. It's clearly not you. And then you have the good kitty. And you see for the Chris that I mentioned, that would be his Scorpio. And this is the same card that came through. I think you had the moon and this one. So the good kitty is karma is getting turned out. So clearly there is a karma in action. Check this out, guys. This is almost like a reading that should be one of those sample readings to show that something is churning. Something needs to happen. You need to pounce on something. That's why you have the 3 of fire. You're just ready. You're just about to. It's happening as we speak. We know it's going to happen in the last second. We're just trying to figure out where is the landing. And it's lots of kind of like sweat bullets kind of running down, but things are working out. Things are looking up fine. So there is like, I mean, a Cancer, there is a Scorpio, there is Aries, and a Leo that you have, and I also see Taurus. So that means a lots of solid state energies are happening over here. And the outcome, it's another karma card. Check this out. We just didn't have the Justice card, but 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 5 karma cards. This is how much I still have in a deck. Where is the Justice card? How far is it? I just wonder. Okay, so it's not close. So it's not going to be a marriage, but everything looks like it's going to something very solid. Right now is on up and up. Right now it's feeling wonderful. It's feeling powerful. Yes, there are like fears are still there, and fears are sometimes stopping your step of something happening. But you know what? This really tells me that you need to shed certain fears in order to move forward, and this person is helping you, because initially I thought that she's bringing karma, she needs to work karma, and I'm still standing by that. But here I'm seeing that Capricorns you're also working your own karma. There is a person coming in your life, which could be Aries or fire sign, or somebody who maybe have their own company, or somebody who kind of like, it could be a little bit coldish in how they deal with things, but nonetheless somebody who is straightening things out over here, and that is kind of like really important here to work, right? This is very strong. You guys are going to have very, very intense month, but if you work with your own fears, and that's why this is going to really help to tell me. And you have dissipating. Okay, what are your fears? I'll tell you what is this all about. Now I know. Because I was wondering, like, why are you fearing this? Is so many good things going, but kind of like they're two different things. So this dissipating card talks about this woman and a parrot, and they kind of chit chat. They watch the shows all the time and movies, and they're always talking about how, you know, they are going to create their own script one day, and everything's going to be okay, and they can do so much better. So one day the family encourages them, well, heck, go ahead. We are going to collect the money for you, and you can work on this project because we think you're going to be really good. But instead of writing the script, they just take the money and go on a cruise, right? And so for the rest of their life, they're just talking about, oh, well, it was the great story, and it was more or less the fantasy, not reality. So this really tells me that in your fantasy, you think things are doable, things are workable, and you really want certain things to happen, but you're like procrastinating. You're like, and that's why the moon was there. You're kind of content to dream, but not so much to make things happen. You're going in circles. So kind of like this fear response is somehow generated over here. So you need to ask yourself if you're doing what you're saying over here. And there's clearly about some kind of like making excuses, but there's also about connection and assistance that is available over here. So are you going to really live your dream, or you're just going to talk about it and then maybe live the rest of your life saying, oh, this was my soulmate? It just kind of like really depends on what personality do you have. Like, you know, I always say to people when they ask about, is this going to be a happy relationship? Well, you know, this is kind of like a weird thing. We can kind of like look what happens if you go forward and what happens if you don't go forward. And I can guarantee you that both paths are going to show ups and downs, right? So it is about if you think you can handle if you fall. And if you say yes, then you have your answer, right? That you'll be handling things as they come your way. So Capricorns, if you guys want a reading with me, contact me at cattarot.ca, and also come and join us. We have moderators coming, and one of the moderators is Chris, who is a Capricorn, so the energy is very strong when I do Saturday morning 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time reading. Let me see, I'm getting another text. Just see kind of like, is something happening with Tiger? Hopefully not. No, it's all good. So cute, my little boy. I'm starting to be in love with my doggo. And then of course Sugar comes last, as Germans say, meaning that every meal you have to finish this with this dessert. Aries is coming last. And it kind of like makes sense, you know, how I used to do it. Like, I mean, always the first time was like that month. And then, unfortunately, the one that was like first, now it's coming last. It's almost like happening now as well, that I see it over here. And so Aries, let's put a timestamp. It's actually not bad doing the online reading this time around. I actually figured out how to make it comfortable for me. So Aries, let's see it. Let's see. Kylie says, loosen the reins of the fear and work through it. Be present and let things unfold. Aries, you're a little tired. Four of Sky means you need quality sleep of some sort, right? You need to kind of like, this is also card of being grateful that things are actually really working out your way and you're like making headways. And then you have a Sky King. It's kind of like that restfulness and feeling that you're catching up is going to allow you to kind of like really think through processes that will work out okay. Then we have the Hermit. Then we have consequences. This is a karma card. Could be about some legal issues, could be some kind of contracts, and that also suggests contracts over here. Maybe you're tired of the whole thing, kind of like pulling aside. The Hermit is also kind of like touching in and feeling intuitively what needs to be done. Then Sky Kitten. Then we have the Empress, and that's especially for the Aries in March that is coming through. Oof. Look at how many majors I have. We have Cat Magic, 1, 2, 3, 4 majors so far. Then another major, the Grace. Temperance is coming through, which means again patience and healing. Somebody's telling you that something is happening, something is going to be released. This is going to be a big month for all signs, guys, but something is being released karmically. This is unbelievably spectacular reading as well. We have Seven of Earth. Kind of like just be patient. We know you're not patient, people. Just be patient. Do we have any Aries over here? And then we have Sea Tome over here. Oh my goodness. Individually, it makes no sense, right? That I can actually interpret your cards individually, because then I will tell you, well, you know, this is about the contracts and legalities, and I'm going to tell you, well, you need to pull yourself in, and you're going to go, oh, which way do I go? Like, you're just telling me this, deal with people, contracts mean dealing with people, pulling myself, right? So that's why sometimes we get to this point, what kind of like, in which order do I kind of like do that? So first of all, this is in your own house, and you have a cat magic. It's telling you, okay, you don't need to find anything out of whatever you have, because things are already happening. Things are already in motion. Look at this entire bottom here. The entire kind of like feet on the ground are major arcanas. So literally you're being guided through this entire process over here. You are being told kind of like good wisdom about this. You already know how to apply this wisdom, and while you're applying this is actually going to start a new process and healing process, and maybe creating something that seemed to be impossible up to that stage, right? It could be, if you're sick, that you're going to be seeking a doctor or healing, and it's kind of literally walking this path can mean walking between life and death, or walking this path could mean simply things that maybe it could be with the family, things that things actually really didn't work out, now are working out and feeling comfort. It's also telling you not to be impatient and kind of like bide your own time. And there is this nourishment energy over here that really happens. On the top of it, kind of like how you react and how you kind of like come across to other people, you have a Sky Kitten and Sea Tome. So it's very playful energy, or maybe very direct energy, right? Showing your tummy and kind of being very accommodating, while Sky Kitten also knows what questions to ask. It's almost like that mix. It usually makes people irresistible, that you're almost harsh one moment and then you're soft. It's like, what do I expect? It's kind of like, it's not for everybody, but it's kind of like some people find it very, very appealing, right? And then you have the consequences. Certain things are starting to feel untangled. Certain things are starting to feel that they're making more sense. And like everything is so positive. You have like all the upright cards over here that, you know, I really don't know what to tell you other than, look, guys, just make sure that whatever you're doing this month, it's fair. Whatever you're doing this month is thought through, right? But it's not only that you're thinking if it looks good on a paper. You also need to kind of close your eyes and pull it in and to see if it sits right, right? Because sometimes makes sense. Oh, you know what? I'm going to, I don't know, move to a different city. I know how to start. I know I just have to find a job and I have to find a place to live, right? But then on the paper you work it out. Yes, financially I can do it. But then you pull yourself in and say, oh, you know, I would feel disjointed. I would feel not grounded, right? So that's kind of like where it's going to kind of like start kicking in. So let's see what card you get here. Oh, you get faith. And this is kind of like about trusting yourself. It's kind of like third eye over here. It's interestingly because we also have the purple over here happening as well. And it's also a very, very powerful card over here that we have it. So this is simply talking about, so now it's connecting with the Four of Sky, a Four of Swords, which is also about gratitude. It's also about talking to God and telling God, thank you for saving me. Thank you for keeping an eye on me. And with the Empress is like, I mean, about the Emperors are chosen by the gods to kind of like be nurturing, to give us what we need. So here is really talking about a lady that wants to kind of like get through, but she sees the wall and she cannot jump over the wall, right? So she's kind of like holding this brick and trying to kind of like remove the stuff, but then these goddesses appear and they say, well, take a look at this brick closer. And she's looking and she says, oh, well, actually it's an amethyst, right? And they tell her, just, you know, you need to put it back in the path, and you know, you're going to see different things. So all of a sudden she's kind of like seeing her future kind of like lighting up. So it's like when you exceed your own expectations, when you push yourself, you know, sometimes like exercise and I have to do 50 repetitions, and on 40 there's like no way I can do one more. Then I said to myself, you're going to be a failure if you give up now. Like you can't, you keep going. And that's kind of push myself because I kind of like work to my fears, right? So this kind of tells me what frightens you is something much smaller than you know. And if you're experiencing pain, then holding on to it, like I mean tighter, it's only going to make situation worse, right? So you need to kind of like put that brick back in the wall. And since it's amethyst, it's kind of talking about that you'll have a tremendous amount of personal magnetism, and that you need to allow yourself to shine. Just, you need to bide your time. Not everything has to happen right away, but this is about miracles. This is about, hey, if you rush things, you know, you're not following wise counsel, so you're not accepting your gifts. Just do not be self-destructive. Kind of like, this is about walking through your fear, but it's walking toward things that maybe you did not think are meant for you, and now they are achievable. And that's why you have the Temperance also pulling it together. Whoa, Aries, you have been the last one, but you know, it's very important that this is almost like sign off for your own birthday time. And now we are shifted to Taurus, so be wise. And this is kind of like 1 year older and 1 year wiser. It is very, very important to move forward. So if you want your personal reading, contact me at cattarot.ca or join us on live Saturdays at 11 Eastern Standard Time. And we are on, oh my gosh, it's 22222 when I looked at it. And this was like freaking amazing. And I'm going to put it down for a new pick a card thing. And we are doing these doors, a different question. And I have 10 minutes before I need to pick up Tiger. So let's do it. Doors number 1, doors number 2, and doors number 3. So if you thought about doors number 1, the answer is yes, King of Rods. It's maybe you need to, maybe you're waiting for somebody to come in your life or come back in your life or make a decision, and it's going to happen. It's going to happen fast. The door number 2 is Knight of Swords. It's kind of like also yes, but you really need to prove your dedication to the goal. If you want to do it and you're willing to go great lengths to get it. Very, very important as well. And door number 3, you have barriers toward this goal. 10 could mean that it can happen, but if it happens, guys, you again will have lots of things to deal with. Lots of things will have to fall into place over there, right? So 10 of Wands can also talk about secrets and somebody kind of like not telling you the things, and you kind of like don't have a full deck to deal with. Somebody says, oh, I love you, but I forget to tell it that they're living with somebody. Kind of like that's kind of like what happens with 10 of Swords. So I would not jump with 2 feet in over there. That's what I would say over here, guys. So, and that is from me for today, guys. Oh my gosh, you really put up with me listening to me for such a long time. I really appreciate. And it was like 2 weeks hiatus, but we are continuing next week. Let me see, do we have any holidays this week, this month? I think we do. I didn't check anything. This is how I'm disconnected for everything. I'm even not writing 2021. I just realized that I signed a few documents for 2012. So that's the pandemic thinking and pandemic doing. So guys, thank you very much. Barbie, I know that when I kind of like uploaded it, it goes to you, but don't worry, I'm going to post it. So, and I'm going to be slicing all of that and putting that as individual signs so people don't have to click around, and that's going to be probably helpful. So until the next time, guys, you know that I love you. It's too bad that Safi didn't come to us. Is there somebody else I'm hearing cracking the food? Somebody is eating, I guess, bad food, temptations. But until the next time, guys, I'm looking forward to seeing you. And by the way, Needing Yogi did send me a note, and I put her telephone number in, and we connected already on WhatsApp. Oh, Eva, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Mods, just send me a note that you want to connect, and I will put you in, and that way we can chit chat even offline as well. I love you, I love you, I love you. On Mother's Day and Memorial Day, you have Memorial Day. I don't know if we have anything in Canada. I know Kylie has to check Australia, Canada holidays, because we have provincials of Ontario. We have the national holidays. Let me see here. May 1st is Orthodox Holy Saturday. Okay, so anybody who is Orthodox, I guess you are celebrating over here. And then you have the Easter tomorrow, so happy Easter for you. And then what is this? Mother's Day is the next Sunday, and then Eid is May 13th. I think that's the end of fasting for Muslims. Lots of, look at that, and that's why I guess we have the Hierophant residing in the month of May. Lots of holidays, and I don't know why we have this listed as well. I was just looking for public holidays. Yes, we do have it May 24th, so which means that probably on the 22nd I am going to take some time off, but I'm going to see you next day. Oh, you have a Labor Day in May. Actually, that makes sense. I think the Labor Day is supposed to be in May, but I think we have a Labor Day when? In October or something like that. So guys, thank you so much. I have to go and put my shoes on and go and connect with my little doggo over there, and he's probably eagerly waiting to come home and to eat something. He still didn't eat. And I'll see you next Saturday. Thank you everybody for your donations, and thank you everybody more so for bringing your energy and your uplifting attitude and carrying me through. Like, it's very intense for me doing this 2.5 hours, but I did it with your help. Thank you everybody. I love you, and let's play some music, and then I'll see you next week, next Saturday. All the best, guys. a little bit of music, and then I'll see you again. Love you. All the best.